Hello, everyone. This is again the series of the BDG Talks 2024, and today we had an amazing guest, Chiara Aliotta. She's founder and art director on Until Sunday and co-founder and art director for the Pattern Tiles. If I forgot something, Chiara, you have amazing background, so please introduce yourself as well. And thanks for joining us.
So thank you so much. No, I think you did an amazing job in sum up my biography, my background. And yes, I'm originally from Italy. I'm currently living on a Greek island, which is a kind of a dream place because it's a very beautiful, not only in summer but also in winter time. I opened my own studio here, like physically, like brick and mortar, a few months ago. So I've been freelancing mostly from a small room in another studio, but now it's open to everyone, and I finally can do workshops and teaching, storytelling mostly, which is my passion. And yeah, so that's me so far. So working remotely, but at the same time have a great relationship with the students here on the island, because there is a design university, and also the people. And so I cannot ask for anything better, honestly.
Yeah, that sounds really amazing, and I think that's a combination of very interesting things. So you're originally from Italy, a country which has amazing design in everything. I mean, like I adore Italy. I've been there a couple of times and try to go there once a year at least in there. So and there is you're in Greece, a very cultural place which also is known for amazing things created, the creative things. So. You as a quintessence of this combination, how this affects you in terms of your creatures or visuals or the storytelling in there, how this affects you?
Very interesting question, because you make me think. I haven't thought about it until now. So yes, I'm originally from Italy, and I studied design at the Polytechnic of Milan, which is the place where many big designers studied in the past. And designer that I admire a lot because they were able to introduce storytelling in their work. When everybody was talking about functionality, these designers were talking about adding story into their products. So how a product, a chair or a table or even a little radio can actually start a conversation, like by looking at it, by being part of an environment. I'm talking a brand of names like Bruno Munari, which is a person I admire immensely because he's a designer, but he's also a creative and an artist, and he wrote a lot about creativity and imagination and the combination of the two to create stories. And he wrote stories also for children. So you can see how everything he designed, it became also something that was used for a completely different audience. And then we have another side, which is another designer, which is Achille Castiglioni. I don't know if you remember the radio from Brion Vega. He designed that radio, but if you look at it, it looks like a little face smiling with the two ears, which are actually the speakers. And I thought this is just not anthropomorphism. Sorry, now this word it doesn't look just like a human being, but it really says something. It's telling a story. So I found it amazing because they were really challenging the idea of design as functionality, the functionality of design. And I love that side. On the other side, we have Greece, which is where drama and storytelling actually started. The origin of storytelling started from Aristotle, that was giving us the structure. So how to tell stories, how to create story that convince the audience in front of you. He was training politicians at that time, of the ancient Greek time. So I'm talking about the basic of storytelling. So I found it like amazing, this kind of relationship, and mixed it in just in between. that
Mhm.
yeah, I think I haven't realized this until you made this question, actually. So
That's a really good
yeah.
point. That's a really good point. And I think what's for a person, for example, like me, I'm not saying I'm very far from design. Basically, I work in IT, so like I have a relation with the design as well. It's kind of an interesting statement you said. You're talking the politician. I think something that is really missing right now in modern times is about the politician
So,
know more about like storytelling and about how it should look like and how it should function in there. And this is quite an interesting thing in there. And going deeper, actually, for the storytelling stuff in there, I know this is like a current trend, and people are starting to pay more and more attention. But we have also another trend, which is sounds like a threatening. That's called AI. I mean, there is a definite idea, fear, if we call it like that, with brackets, obviously, that this kind of trend will affect, firstly, people of your profession, of your passion in there. And being 100% honest with you, I don't agree with that, because for me, creativity cannot be digitalized, at least in an extent in there. But wanted to hear your thought, because obviously I do think you started to research anything about that. What's your ideas about maybe using AI, or about the global idea that it can eventually, not saying replace, but take a lot of mechanical work from there? What's your perceptions on that?
so that's true. There is a lot of fear around AI because it's moving faster, and scientists have been telling us that it's moving faster than they already predicted. That means that
Mm-hmm.
they say that they couldn't imagine that in 2 years from now we would have the results they were expecting in 5 years. So that's scary in a way, because it means that we are moving faster and we have to adapt faster to a new technology. On the other side, I think there is a lot of excitement too, because I've been using AI in my daily work. So embracing it is the first step to avoid we fear it. It's like when the train was introduced. A lot of people didn't want to get on the train. I don't know if you ever read stories when the train started to pass through the cities. They were scared about this monster that today actually is a way for traveling faster to one place to another.
Mm-hmm.
So a very common in the human history to be scared about new technologies or new ideas. But on the other side, I think embracing it and understanding how we can use them for our benefits is the only way to go. I think, like fire, you can use it AI to burn yourself or either to warm up yourself. So I think I want to use it to warm up myself. So in that sense, I want to use this technology to help myself to become better as a designer. How I use AI is not by replacing my creativity. I don't need that. I like to be creative. And I see AI provide, until now at least, always the same kind of solutions. What AI
Mm-hmm.
helps you to do is making redundant actions or elements, or I mean, in your process of working, a little bit less redundant. Like you can give some instruction to help you do some benchmarking work, to do some research for you, so to give you some hints of what to look at, which may take you days sometimes, but AI will do it in a couple of hours, if not less. And then, of course, you need to do some more kind of research, because you always have to counter test what AI is providing you. So definitely what I will use AI is for doing things that are boring, mechanical, but not for the creative side of our work. And I don't think AI is ready to substitute us in the strategic thinking, in the
Mm-hmm.
decision making process. I don't think we are there yet, because I don't. It's not because it's not powerful enough. It's just because it doesn't have the flexibility that our mind has. So the
Mm-hmm.
mind of a
Mm-hmm.
human being has. And so I can see it's a trend, and I love it in many ways. In UX, for example, what is bringing is personalization. With AI and algorithm, we can create products that are more personalized and closer to the way the user use them. So that's amazing, because the way I use a product is not the same as another person use it. So that's an amazing way to use AI, because you can get really closer to you to the people who are experiencing the product. And but I don't know, we need to look at it. It's too early, in my opinion. There are a lot of ways we can probably approach it. My way is, don't use it to substitute what you are very powerful, good at, what human beings are very good at, which is creativity, taking decisions, thinking strategically about solutions. So I won't use it there. I will use it just to gain time on things that we are very bored to do.
Yeah, it's actually, I fully agree with you, because whenever, for example, my students or whatever people are asking me, because the AI is coming or AI trend is here, it's like, for me, it's about helping hand to automate something. But really, I think it's about people minds. So, as a follow up, what you're saying is that I think many people who are just entering the profession, entering that, and starting to think about this creativity, about is it for me or something, I think they got distracted for all of this noise about all this trend of AI saying, like, for example, I give you an example in there. I have a friend who want to learn about it, but saying, like, is there a sense? It's like in 5-7 years they might be not be this profession as a whole. I was like, good specialists are always in trend, because they can provide more than AI can. Because for me, a person of design is about very much tied to the storytelling you're saying. It's about, if I will be a client, I won't be able to describe the exact requirements on the design in there. I will explain what I want to see as a product, as a vision in there, and it's up to the person, for you or some, to provide me something that I will see and say, wow, that's exactly what I want. And as a matter of time, this gap is big in terms like a person and AI. At least the person is a designer by himself, and he can like define everything. And it's a good thing to it's a good thing to embrace, because it's already here. I mean, we can't like just reject something that is already here. But going deeper about like 2024 is a big year. I mean, for the UX things, and overall for the technology as well in there. What you see as a current trend in the UX? We talk about a little bit about storytelling that is becoming more and more important. But like, if it for me, like a person from a side looking, like everything in UX and any kind of creative stuff is all going with patterns. So it's not like evolving in there. So what are the current patterns? What right now designers are fond of, and what they like, what they use, and what will be evolution for the 2024, in your opinion?
As I mentioned before, I think what is very becoming a lot of very, I mean, in trend right now is the personalization of the experience. So to go into personalize even more and understanding our user even more. AI is helping us to collect those data, make sense of them in a faster way, so we can design experiences that are closer to the real need of the user, and that's a big trend right now. Of course, we have all the new interfaces. So we work a lot. We used already a lot, but now even more. The virtual reality, augmented reality. I saw a lot of this during the design week in Milan. They were used everywhere as an experience. So, and somehow we are a little bit detaching ourselves from reality. And I think this is maybe something that's been left from the recent pandemic we had, because we couldn't live the way we wanted. So virtual reality became a parallel way to live reality, which is not here. So we are carrying this from the pandemic, so which is something we should not forget about it, because it has been a big a moment in the design world for technology itself. I think we wouldn't have AI as it is right now if we didn't have this kind of break. So I see virtual reality becoming a bigger trend. I mean, it's already a trend, but it become even more developing even more. Of course, we have a lot of voice user interface. So this is another pattern that I can see being exploited a lot. Chatbots, these are all important elements that are becoming even more sophisticated, more real with time because of AI being introduced into the development of these interfaces. So I see this happening. And I see there is a need even more of an emotional connection. When machines become a place where, when machine becomes our next interface, and we actually interface with this kind of, we actually, start to talk with these machines. What we really need then is the emotional connection that just a human being can give you. So we need to
Yeah.
look also at that aspect, and the privacy, of course, which is also another thing, but I don't want to go there. Really, I don't want to go there, but let's talk about the emotional connection. And yeah, that's probably what I can see, I foresee in a
Yeah,
closer future.
that's a great point, actually, and I think it's a very beneficial information for people who are starting in profession, starting to get deep dive in terms of UX. Is that there's always something new. That's the power of this field. I mean, for the I mean, it's related to any kind of profession, but in profession which require creativity, I usually say by myself, I'm a very woody in creativity. I don't have it, but I always amazed from people who can create something on a scratch of a paper. So for the people who can do it, I think there is always an opportunity. Is there an AI? After AI can be like a human machine interface and everything, there's always something, because people are emotional beings, in my opinion, and they do like and this is important. I think they don't always only use something; they like to see it's beautiful. I mean, they like to see it's something entertaining in there, and this is impacting our choices a lot. So, as for me, I can have two devices or something. One is very powerful and do the stuff I need, but it doesn't look very friendly, and it's not very beautiful, and I can choose it in a way. Okay, it's kind of doing what I'm doing, but it's always keep an eye on something which is beautiful, which is something I guess will be impacted everywhere, and the modern generation is much more in there. I wanted to talk a little bit about more about your recent experiences. So we're talking about this storytelling, UX, and business needs, and I think there is not saying an issue. There is a thing that should be reduced. The gap should be reduced about what business needs, because business people, they think a little bit different. I work with business all the time, and for them it's like this: I need this one, I need it yesterday, and I need to be starting performing from right now. And for example, 2 weeks ago in there. So there are usually people who are very straight, very I won't afraid saying like money oriented or something. So maybe you have an example about how you can how you interacted with a business who is very result oriented, and working with them in this UX storytelling stuff in there, like maybe transforming their needs to a more visual appealing stuff in there will be fine, I guess.
Yeah. So we are going to explore this even more in Yerevan for sure. But let me tell you,
Sure.
because the storytelling side, it's always very misunderstood. We think it's about making things
Hmm.
more beautiful and appealing, but it's also a methodology for us. So what we're going to do, the way I've been using storytelling is exactly for the reason you're telling me about. It's about to meet the business goals of my client. So it's not about to
Hmm.
fill up with stories that of things that don't exist. It's about actually to make sure that the client can actually ride with me the creative process and be with me, so he understand every reason why this thing is designed in that way. And this is the only way you
Yeah.
can get them on board with your idea without thinking I want it this way. I'm not saying they won't ask you for things done differently. It just you can justify why this thing won't fit in that specific design. So, and that's the power I see in storytelling as being, the more you use it, the more you're able to keep them very focused on a specific on a specific track, on a specific uh, way of thinking. So, for example, the way I use storytelling is not just about one project; it's for everything I do. So I really use storytelling from ideation, so become creative, so brainstorming with myself or with a client. Then I use it to structure ideas so I can develop them into a real project, so into something that is functional. So it could be an application, it could be branding, it could be the brand experience as a whole. So not just about one product, but consider one product as a part of the experience you provide as a brand, so holistically. And then how I presenting this idea to the client, to my stakeholders. So so you can see that for me, storytelling is a more like a methodology to keep the user on track. So of course, this is something that cannot be done overnight. You had to learn, you had to make it yours. So the methodology we're going to explore in Yerevan is actually it's not something you're going to learn some elements and I expect you to apply the way it works for you with your clients. So that's the nice thing, because you can you can shape it. It's just maybe a framework, I would call it, but it's just the basic of how then you can build up on top of it. You can build on top of it. So so there is no one project where I haven't used storytelling, from ideation to presentation to finally meet the goals of the business goals, because that's also the other important thing. When you follow the story, you immediately understand if something's working or not, because it's all between cause and effects. So, and it's all the correlation. So you immediately spot the hole in the plot. You immediately spot if something is not fitting in the story. You immediately spot it if something, you want to design a feature, but you can see based on other on the story you've been following that it's not really fitting nicely, because somehow we are in our brain, we are wired for stories, so we can immediately understand if something is not correlated. And this is easy to spot with storytelling. When you don't use storytelling, it's more difficult. You had to go through sideways, but with storytelling it becomes very linear, it becomes very obvious, and that's amazing. That's why I find it like revelating somehow. So that's what usually as designers and project managers we need, is to spot the hole in the plot, and then say, well, you see, this is not really fitting, or you see, this is too much, or this is not really talking to our audience. So this is the kind of the way storytelling can help you achieving business goals.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And one thing that comes in my mind, and especially looking from the prism of the Yerevan event, we're going to talk a little bit about this a little bit later. But there is also a specific type of businesses that can define this kind of vision, or this kind of embrace this kind of storytelling. And I think this is one of the things also evolving in 2024. And I see it really, for example, in the example of Armenia. Because like it was like how it was like 10 years ago, it was just business. I mean, it's all about roughly saying about earning money, market share, and everything. And now people are more and more entertaining about like sharing the vision, and they're like having a vision is one of the ways of the past about having a storytelling in there. What's your business? What's your brand is telling? What message you are selling to your users, to your clients in there? People start think about this one, because I perfectly agree with one statement that you said, is that we understand everything really better in terms of stories. I mean, for me, it's a perfect thing, because whenever I have need to understand something, I can read it, I can see it, and certain information will be better. But for example, when you say like, please tell me that, and it's up to the person who is telling in there how it's going to be fitting in there. And this is something really interesting to explore in there. I really love to see how this evolves in there. And this is a good things to do. Coming back to the event, I know there's a big event planned in Yerevan. I'm excited. I will be there, obviously going to tell. And I recommend everyone, irrespective if he's a UX designer or planner or creative. I think this is necessary for everyone. As I said, I am a very woody person, but I would love to change that. I would like to have some insights on that, because I apparently on the side of the barricade that I can read a lot of stuff. I see ads and everything. But for a person who heard about this first time, okay, there's a big event, I want to see it. Why? Why do I need to come? I mean, ultimately.
Of course, yeah. Let me ask you that question: why you should come for 2 days in Yerevan and see my talk and participate not only to my talk, actually. Well, so let me tell you a little bit. First of all, the first reason is that it's going to be an amazing experience. So if you're looking for a place where you want to start your network, you want to understand how other people work in the same field, I think this is a great opportunity. From my side, what I will say is that usually what I do is, as a talk, is always very immersive. So you're going to learn a process that you won't find in books, because this is a very personal approach. I mean, you can find things, but you won't find them in a way that are structured to help designers. So this is something you will get just in Yerevan, and unless you read some of my articles, but they're going to be spread everywhere. So you have to then join the dots. While in Yerevan, we're going to join the dots together. So people will expect a very interactive first day where I will present the methodology itself. And then the second day, which I also advise you to join, is about hands-on on this methodology and try it together. So you're going to experience how actually this works. And I think this is a unique possibility, a unique opportunity for the people in Yerevan to actually be in contact or be in seeing this live, and also ask questions, because that's also the other side. I don't just speak on the stage. There would be possibility to ask questions, to also come close to me and say, I had this problem. How would you solve it? Or how would you see this happening? Or I've been using storytelling in this way. How can I use your methodology? So I think this is one of the many reasons. And I mean, I've already I told 3 actually. Yeah, say, well, you're gonna see me live, but you're gonna learn a new methodology. Or anyway, we're gonna join the dots together. You're gonna try the methodology in place. So we're gonna practice together. And eventually, you're going to do a lot of networking, because that's the right place to be with all the people that think like you, or maybe have used or have experienced similar things, but solve them in a different way. So, yeah, I think yes. Please.
That's a good thing, and that's just a quick question for a person like me who is like not exactly in the UX stuff in there. However, I find it really interesting for the mentioned reason you said about networking and people that create something. But my personal struggle in there, should I be in the industry in there to actually vibe and understand about what is telling? Because I predict this kind of concerns about this. So, for example, people who are newcomers, people who are seniors in this industry, or people who just love to try new things in there, this is a perfect thing for me. But for a person, for example, on the other side of the barricade, who is far from there, but is just love creative stuff in there, what will be like for them in there? So is there something I can participate on apart from doing real stuff, which I tried the first time?
Considering that we are going to start from the fundamentals of storytelling, so the talk definitely is open to anyone that is, even if you're not in design, it doesn't really matter, because I mean, UX design in terms of technology and products, it really doesn't matter, because the process that we are going to explore can be applied to anything, really. whatever is your design is something that is that imply an interaction with another person that someone else needs to use. It could be this mug here, it could be your next your shop maybe. Then this methodology, you can just take it and reuse it for other experiences. So really, of course, the example we're going to use are related to digital products, because that's my field of experience. But you will see in the large picture how everything can be actually applied to any product that you wish to design, that you want to be memorable, you want to be usable, you want to solve the real problem. So I don't think you need to be a designer. Of course, if you are a designer, you are a step ahead. But I think it has to do with anyone who wants to really create experiences, any kind of experiences that has the quality of the memorability or giving emotion or being really relatable with the person we are designing to. So it's about understanding our users, really. That's what we are going to look at. And it's more than designing like a user-centered design. It's really like going to the heart of what connects us to the other people. And that's why I think it's really needed. Like, we need to learn storytelling, because you were talking before about trends, but storytelling is not a trend. Storytelling is how our brain works. And this is why everybody can make sense of it. But we need to learn how to become better storytellers. So that's why I invite you to come in Yerevan.
Sounds great. I will definitely accept this one. And just to remind everyone, it will be end of this month. It's May 24th, 25th. So it will be an amazing event. I'm totally convinced, being honest, to join in there. And I'll be happy to come and meet you and all of these wonderful people that will be there. And yeah, thank you very much, Chiara. It was an amazing talk between us, and I learned a lot. And I will try to apply the knowledge that I gain, not only during the event, but right now, about to change the way I work in there. Thank you for joining, and for everyone else, just a reminder: we were talking with Chiara Aliotta. She is the founder and art director of the Until Sunday and Pattern Tales. I'm pretty much sure you had the same amount of pleasure and joyfulness of listening to us. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, I look forward to meeting you in person in Yerevan, and to actually really talk about storytelling and how we can create better experiences together. So see you
Okay,
soon.
sounds great. See you
Bye. Bye
soon.
bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.